Now, I called and told Chris about this, and basically this is the answer, okay? This is what nobody could understand. We are a governmental unit, okay? We're the smallest governmental unit in this country. And we have to stand as a private enterprise estate, not as a trust or any of that stuff. You stand as a private enterprise estate, and basically the state cannot touch you unless you cause harm. The only way that we can turn around and combat these guys is to basically issue taxes against them for their usage of our assets. They fraudulently try and tax us under their democracy form of taxation, which is not equal representation. You're not being equally represented when they turn around and issue a tax against somebody. I mean, that's just a majority. That's not, that's like 51% to 49%. Wait a minute. That ain't justice. There's nothing just about that type of situation. And then half these guys are being bought off anyway. So they're corrupt as hell.
Sure.
And basically, even the Supreme Court Chief Judge, one of the Supreme Court Chief Judges said this: the power of taxation is the power to destroy. You have a maritime commercial contracted vessel with that certificate of live birth, with that Social Security vessel, with that DD or selective service vessel, with that driver's license vessel, with that certificate of title to the vehicle vessel, with that mortgage property vessel. They're all vessels, and they're maritime commercial vessels, but they're under contract. You are the device-e of those contracts, just like you're the device-e of the Constitution. The device-ors of the Constitution were the Founding Fathers. The Constitution is the device or the contract. That's where you are the beneficiary in the process. But you have rights as the beneficiary to come in and tax to claim your rights. That was in the Article 1, Section 2. Also, it's supported in Article 1, Section 8 in the Constitution. And then it is further reiterated in the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. This power is reserved to the people, also to the states. If the states have the power to tax, the people have the power to tax. Come on, think about these things, people. All these other damn patriots out here that have shot off their damn mouth, they don't think one thing about half the stuff that's gone on. They just keep plodding down the same damn road. Never really making any real headway. They may think they get headway, and then all of a sudden they're back in jail. You have to come in and stand in Admiralty. That's what is identified in the Constitution, is Admiralty, not Maritime. Maritime came about by the Lever Code and by the 14th Amendment, after they got rid of, or basically about the time of Lincoln, the bankers were coming in, and the foreign monarchies from Europe and everything were coming over and taking out, and they were going to go after the white whales in this country. Mm. They already had the black whales in slavery. They already had the red whales in reservations. The ones that they didn't have control over were the white whales. That's why the book Moby Dick was written in 1851. Moby Dick was a white whale. Wasn't a red whale, wasn't a black whale, wasn't a pink, purple, yellow, whatever, polka dotted. He was a white whale. They were coming after the white Americans, because the white Americans didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They thought they were just supposed to come down here to planet Earth and basically be a servant and just work their ass off and never get any real enjoyment out of being here, knowledge-wise or anything. Just be dumbfounded. Just start working, just plod along, and nothing. Don't gain anything. Don't advance or anything like that. Just live and die. That's the damn mentality of people out here. That's what got the Hebrews into trouble constantly. After Moses tried to bring them out of Egypt. How many times did they go back into indentured servitude? Under maritime law. False contracts. They were the creditors all along. But they turned around and they wanted a damn frying pan from the bank or whatever, or they thought they needed to have an insurance policy when they've got all the damn insurance they need from Mother Earth, from the country that they're in. The Treasury belongs to the people. You have an inheritance of that treasury, but they don't dole out the whole damn treasury. A lot of it's kept in reserve. And that's for basically any excess that is needed. Carryover. There's court cases out there that basically, when they infringe upon your rights. One court case out of Florida. The guy was awarded $25,000 for being detained 23 minutes. Mm. Pretty much that equated out to $75,000 per hour. And roughly at about $180,000 for a whole day. How do you get that back? You tax them. You take them into bankruptcy. They are a bankrupt already. They're using our assets. To get our money back, we have to tax them and enforce the collection of that tax. Mm. It's a tax lien that we're placing by putting this B-10 into the bankruptcy court. You put down the name of the vessel or the court case or whatever as the debtor, state of whatever, who's caused you harm. Police department, debtor. Sheriff's department, debtor. Court, debtor. They're all corporations. They're coming out against us. We have to attack back. A tax is an attack. You have to start loading up your cannons and start firing back. Pirates of the Caribbean. The movie was about a captain by the name of Jack Sparrow. Now, at the very end, basically all these dead people were walking around, and then they came to life. And who won out? The Admiralty. Captain Jack Sparrow. Basically, he died and was resurrected in the movie. See, people don't see what's really being put right in front of them. Several movies that I recall about a sparrow essentially dying and then being resurrected. They were trying to tell us something in a lot of these things. Moby Dick was all a fictional process. All three whaling vessels that were going after Moby Dick sank. The guy that was out there, basically, he was the lone survivor. The key person in the book. All the rest of the guys were fictionary. Captain Ahab and all the rest of the cooks and all the others in there. Think about their names that they used. But this is it. I've been addressing that we are the tax collector, but I just didn't know how to come about collecting the tax. I didn't know. I knew that we had the power, but I didn't fully understand that we had this power. And then to see that statement in Ballantyne's dictionary, the power of taxation is the power to destroy, made by a Chief Supreme Court judge. I said, lo and behold, shit, that's what we've been looking for. We've been trying to destroy this damn certificate of live birth, this Social Security account, all these damn fraudulent maritime contracts. So how do we destroy it? We tax the living shit out of them. We force them into bankruptcy as an involuntary bankruptcy action that we're forcing them in. We're checkmating them. And that's what we have to do. Your certificate of live birth should start out like this.
Lien.
Name of debtor. State of whatever. Dash bankrupt vessel. Your name in all capital letters. Second line. Maritime commercial contracted vessel number. And then you put your vessel number. The registration number. And then care of, state of, whatever, bankrupt corporation. You are the creditor. Mr. or Mrs., whatever, semicolon, whatever. Family, clan, whatever. Private enterprise estate owner, United States creditor, and contract device E. in Admiralty. You have the notice of this tax lien, and this is a tax lien notice. And it now will be sent out by a court, clerk of the court. It goes to the state of whatever dash bankrupt corporation, care of the Attorney General, that state Attorney General, and then his address. The Attorney General for the state is the CFO of the state. Justice Department is exchangement. All the Attorney Generals have basically under their jurisdiction the Revenue Department. They also have the Consumer Complaint Department. Look at all the different departments that are under the Attorney General's office. And then they all go back, they're all tied back to the United States Attorney General. So this is CFO of the United States Corporation. The certificate of live birth is under a state registration number, but it is a federal, the first three digits are its federal zone number, but is still issued out by the state. It does have federal ties, but still the state Attorney General is still tied to the federal Attorney General. For the certificate of live birth, the max you can put down is $10 billion. Not million, billion. You're not going to get that much, but basically that will force them into bankruptcy because they don't have that much. So they've got to come into bankruptcy and liquidate what they do have, and then you're the sole creditor, so you're going to get what's on that vessel. That's why you take them and you tax them more than what basically you know is going to be there. Social Security account, when you go after that, that is being held by the Social Security Administration, because that wasn't issued by the state. So that's who basically is the bankrupt vessel, and then your name, and then Maritime Commercial Contracted Vessel number is the Social Security number. Now, on all these documents, when you do the items, the 4-digit that's going in there is going to be your last 4 digits of your Social Security number. They've tied all these contracts together with that Social Security number, that vessel number, the last 4 digits. So that they could utilize it in their banking system. They needed a transmitting number, a routing number. And that's what the Social Security number also stands for, is a routing number. But it's also a vessel holding some of your estate assets in it. So for your Social Security account, I would put at least $250 million to force that account into bankruptcy. If you have a baptismal certificate, it's the Church of Rome is the bankrupt vessel holder of your, and then your baptismal name. Now, there is no vessel number on that, but it would be a maritime commercial contracted vessel per the church that you were baptized in. The Church of Rome's basically place of where their assets are being held is St. Patrick's Trust Building in New York City, because this is being held as a Cesta K Trust. This is the Cesta K Trust that everybody's been looking for. So you put the charge in against that and have the notice sent to the our Cardinal or the Vicar General of New York there at St. Patrick's Trust Building. I would put down $500 million for that, because that's going against the world assets. You might even put $1 billion. I don't know. Whatever it is, basically you'll force them into bankruptcy. And there again, they are using your account, your certificate of live birth account, in the process. And then for any banking transactions, you would still reference your Social Security number in the process. And see, a baptismal certificate, a lot of times they have additional add-ons onto the thing, like communion, confirmation, marriage, whatever, holy orders. You are the godfather or the godmother over your vessels. In 1970, I was reading the book Godfather, and basically, but it was about the mafiosa. Well, I had one guy on board the ship that I was on, the Intrepid carrier, that basically he was out of Boston, and he was telling me exactly who the players were in that book. But the word Godfather was very important to understand. You are the godfather of your offspring, bastardly creations. And that's what all these contract persons that you have are, bastardly creations. So you're either the godfather or the godmother of those damn things. You're going to bring them home. All this whole damn process was fully identified by all the parables that the man Jesus put out there. The one about the bad servant. The bad servant is the state. The master forgave the state, but then the state turned around and went after one of the other items out there, like the driver's license or whatever, the Social Security account. saying, you owe me taxes. Well, the master found out about it, and what did he do? He went back after the state for depriving the other one for not forgiving them their debt. Because that servant basically shouldn't have had any debt by those other servants to him. It was all fraud. Sit down and think about the parables that are out there. They've told us a lot if you know what you're looking for. The basis for your claim is by my right of age. And see, you had to come of age, 25, and that's when you became a representative. And basically that's what it says in the Constitution. You have to have a representative and taxation and representation. So you are the representative in the representation of your estate. By my right of age and my constitutional powers of taxation in Admiralty, this claim is to tax the above listed Patrick Divine bankrupt contracted vessel into total liquidation as a forced involuntary bankruptcy action. You can modify that appropriately if you're going after a mortgage, if you're going after a court case, if you're going after any time that you were jailed by the police, harmed in any way, you can tax the living shit out of them. You can take the basis of roughly $180,000 a day for incarceration. They probably made a hell of a lot more than that off you. In the prison system. I mean, hell, they'll bounce some of these prisoners and transport them all across the damn country so everybody gets their dids in. Just like the bankers do with a mortgage. They turn around and the one mortgage company holds them for maybe 3 years and then turns around and sells it to somebody else. So that everybody's getting their hand in the pie. When you find out about that, you can turn around and put a tax claim against each one of those banks that held that mortgage. I would take them for at least 3 times the value into bankruptcy. They will probably try and settle for 1 value of that mortgage. Your principal and interest, you can also go after that you paid in. You tax them. Everything out here, we've been told for years that everything that happens in this country is by tax. It's a tax. They're attacking you. You have to attack back. In other words, they're taxing you, so you have to turn around and tax them back. And you've got the bigger guns. You've got the Admiralty guns. You will win out in the long run if you hold to your guns. In Admiralty, they will try and slip you into Maritime and try and sink you there. A lot of that was sort of brought out in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. The Black Pearl was basically in Maritime. The other ships were in Admiralty. The Maritime came in and took over one of the Admiralty ships, but the Admiralty fought back and regained that ship. By attacking, by taxing. Now, on a mortgage or on the certificate of live birth, Social Security account, you don't do anything in Block 4. You don't do anything in Block 3A, 3B, 4. You mark 5. You're coming in and you're doing a taxes as taxes or penalties owed to, guess what? Governmental units. You are a governmental unit of one as an estate. How many you got on the call now, Tom?
9.
Yeah. Sort of figures.
Actually 10, including you and I.
Sort of figures. Got the answer here. Basically, people could turn around and buy the fucking Super Bowl team that's out there playing either one of them, the winner or the loser, after they get out of this damn thing.
Yeah, that's
but
going
yet
on,
they,
isn't it?
yeah, I mean, basically, I don't think any of them have $1 billion bet on this game. So, yeah, they're bypassing the whole damn system. Basically, they don't know where the hell their priorities are.
Basically, each week there's about 34 or 40 downloads of the call. So I think we're having wider circulation.
Yeah, but basically, why aren't these people, if they're downloading the call, why can't they come on to the call and basically ask the questions? That's what basically gripes me.
I understand, yeah.
I put all these templates and everything else out here. I've done all the research. People will go out and pay $1,000 or whatever to some of these gurus for nothing. I'm sitting here destitute, okay? I'm dead broke in the water. I sold just about everything I can to try and keep this damn thing going and put out the templates for you people. I haven't got anything back. I tried to live what I was speaking about. I rejected doing the Social Security, claiming my Social Security account. I got 2 payments out of it, and then I turned it down. I said, I know what the hell they're doing. They're writing more bonds and putting the country in further and further in debt. I don't want to have any part of that. I could have gone out and got credit cards and everything else. But I wasn't going to do that because that's playing into the devil's system of destroying this country. If anybody out there can, I would greatly appreciate it. Maybe for $20 or something like that, you could send to me to try and help me finish out the rest of the week.
That would be great. Yes, let's do that.
Wherever you can, okay? You'll be reimbursed because this is it. We're there. They know we're there. We just, and basically even a bankruptcy judge told a couple guys, you can do this yourself. Well, the only way you can do this yourself is to tax the living shit out of it. You become the tax man. You're the true tax collector. You're the true owner. So start putting your taxes out there and having them pay you back. You turn around and start taxing these courts, and they ain't going to touch you. You tax the driver's license. Put it in for like $5-10 million. Basically, the state will be glad to basically terminate that driver's license. Certificate of title to your vehicle. You put it down for at least 3 times the value that they have on that certificate. You want some more money? Go out and buy a used vehicle, get the titles to that vehicle for $500. Hell, some of the car manufacturers are doing it. I've said this for years. You go and buy an old clunker that basically has a certificate of title that's listed for $30,000, $80,000 on the damn thing, initially brand new. You turn around and you tax the hell out of that. Put down 3 times the value. It's issued by the state. You put it to the Attorney General to settle that certificate. The funds are in these accounts. And unless we start coming in and start collecting our taxes, basically, they're not going to be there. You can't do this on a group effort. You have to do this on an individual basis. They did away with the Moses effect years ago, many years ago. Even Daniel couldn't do the Moses effect of a group effort. He could only do himself. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, or whatever the hell his name was, basically, they could only do their own selves. Then everybody else had to do their individual self to come out, if they wanted to come out. Jesus couldn't come in and save everybody. He had to show us the way and the path. But nobody understood his way and the path. And then the bankers came in and deceived it all in the process. Because they sold the story of blood and guts more so than anything else. But this is it. You take this in the bankruptcy court, the clerk of the court has to file this. You're the creditor. There is no court case yet. You're going to force the debtor, and see, then the court, you're putting a tax lien in when you do this. The clerk of the court will put out the tax notice of lien. That's what the notice, why you put down who the notice goes to. Now it's a notice of lien. They have 3 days to cure because this is under contract. This is the commercial lien that basically a lot of these people out here, like Alfred Adak or whatever his name was, basically were trying to do. Several people got in jail trying to do commercial liens against sheriff's departments and different things like that, because they did not notify them. Well, you do it this way through the bankruptcy court, then the clerk of the court sends the notice out. They have, under Maritime Contract Law, Regulation Z, as in zebra, and also there was a movie about in 2013 called World War Z, as in zebra, about all these dead people coming and eating away at everybody. So like vampires. And see, that's what this whole thing is. You have to turn around and fight back. You have to get the virus to combat them. And the virus is the tax that you are able to put on them. That's a virus to them. It will kill them. I don't know how many movies out here have been instigated about the vampires. Basically, you put a virus into them. It kills them all. Aliens attacking. Basically, they send out and they put a virus into their computer system or whatever. That's an attack, a tax. A virus is a tax. You're taxing something. You're taxing their immune system, their immunity. And that will kill or destroy them. But see, people don't know how to even sit back and analyze these damn movies. They just watch them for entertainment. Just like this damn Super Bowl. Oh, that's good entertainment. Some of the worst football I've ever seen has been in the Super Bowls. Now, like they've already figured out, hell, the damn New England Patriots already rigged the damn game to win the damn thing by underinflating the damn footballs in their playoff games. It's all a rigged game. It's a game of chance. Just like going into casinos. And the odds are stacked against you. Playing the commodity boards. Basically, I knew different items should be going in one direction. But there was a small market that I was involved in. And then towards the end of the day, all of a sudden, some big player comes in and drives it completely the opposite direction. Well, who's the big player in half these damn things in the commodity board? The Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. They come in and manipulate the markets. They will attack you. Just like the casinos will. They will wine and dine the living shit out of you until they suck everything out of you. You have to know how to attack as a hit-and-run scenario. You hit them where they don't expect to be hit. And this is the one place that they never expected to be hit, is for someone to take them into bankruptcy by taxation. The last place in the world that they would have ever expected to be hit back. Oh, we're the only ones that can issue taxes. Bullshit. We have the powers if we stand in Admiralty.
Wow.
And that's the whole crutch of the game. You stand in Admiralty and you will win the game in the long run. This B10 form is not that hard to figure out. You attach a copy of the certified copy, not a certified copy, but a copy of that. You scan it in or print it out and attach that with that B10 form as your proof. And that's covered in Section 7, I think it is. And then basically I put in Section 7 there where it says document. I said contract attached, and the contract settlement per Regulation Z is to honor the 3-day rules. And your cover letter to the, if you're sitting, your bankruptcy court is right there in the state capital that you're going to. Okay? You try and get that U.S. Marshals to basically hand deliver it. Now, my federal bankruptcy court is only about 8 blocks away. They got a bunch of U.S. Marshals sitting around there doing nothing. Basically, they might as well run down the street and drop it off to the Attorney General. Try and get their email account. Or put a fax number there so that the clerk of the court can either basically certify that they sent it by fax or by email, electronic transmission, to help expedite the thing rather than going by mail, because if it goes by mail, then it's under the 10-day rule. 3 days out, 3 days to look over, 3 days to get it back, plus 1 day of grace. I've covered these items before. Everything that we were trying to do about dissolution of the corporation, all of this, it was right. But there's only one way you can do it. They're not going to honor those type of items. So the only way you can do this is to tax them out of existence, like the Chief Supreme Court Justice Marshal said. The power of taxation is the power to destroy. You can even reference the court case, go into Ballantyne's dictionary and look up that phrase, and then reference that court case in your letter that you send to the clerk of the court. You don't believe me? If you want me to basically go out and prove it to you, then support me. Okay? Help me get across the finish line.
Okay.
Like in a marathon. Basically, they had people with water along the way to help the guy keep his energy up to finish the race. If you're able to get out there and finish the race ahead of me, more power to you. Then try and come back and help me across the line. But let's get this shitting thing going. We're there. This is the answer that we've been looking for this whole damn time. We now know how to stop them from attacking us. We attack back at them. They're only attacking like at 35% taxing rate. We tax at 12,000% tax rate. That's what I mean. We've got the bigger guns when you really look at it. They're the ones that are sitting there totally vulnerable, not us. We're the foundation. They're the ones that are floating around in this fictional system, like at the arcade. You've got the gun in your hand. You can knock them off. You just have to find out exactly what you're shooting at and how your aiming is taking place there. Because they always have those gun sights set off on those damn guns. So once you find the point, then it's just bang, 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 and every time you'll hit something. So, okay, go ahead and open it up for questions, Tom.
Hey, guys, have any questions? Have you been looking at the B10 form? If you need to play the call back with the B10 form in front of you, it will really make a lot of sense. I don't have questions about that, Patrick. I just need to, with the notes that you gave me yesterday and this call, really go back and study it. I think I understand what you want. I just got to get the phrasing right.
Yeah, basically it's pretty easy. I mean, listen to the call. Basically, I've told you everything right there. This is a simple form. You just throw a few little phrases in there, and then basically you do a cover letter, and we send this into the clerk of the court.
Yep.
We have to get these things into the hand of the bankruptcy trustee. I was trying to put them into the bank trustee's hands. No, we have to bring the vessel in. We don't have the vessel. The vessel is not in our control. That's why we have to get the estate attorney general or whoever issued that instrument to bring the vessel into the bankruptcy court so that now they can turn it over to the bankruptcy trustee so that he can properly adjudicate it, liquidate it, and give us the residue.
So I'm close to my local bankruptcy court, but I can't take it there. I should go to the Capitol with it?
You can take it wherever you want to, Tom.
Okay. I mean, it'd be easy to get it to the local bankruptcy court for me. I could handle it right there.
To get it into the damn, when you get this in, and basically then if you hand lock this in, basically try and get a certified or a timestamp copy of it. Take 2 copies in. Have them timestamp one of them in for you.
They do that. Yes, that's the way they do it. I'm very familiar with that.
Otherwise, you send it in by certified mailing, or certificate of mailing into them.
Actually, it's easier for me to do, just go hand deliver it and get everything done that way. Second copy.
And if you do it, certificate of mailing, you take that little certificate of mailing label. I told you what the number was before. Okay? It's 3817.
Right.
And basically, you turn around and you are the postmaster of your post office, of your estate. That's an estate post office. A private enterprise estate post office. And you put the number on there, you put a 3-cent stamp on the damn thing, and then you emboss the thing and say, hey, I mailed this. Now, that's an affidavit. When you emboss that.
I could even do that when
sign, what?
I could even do that when I'm hand delivering it. Just give them a certified certificate.
No, you don't do that, okay?
No?
You do it one way or the other, okay?
Okay, I interrupted you.
Yes. You're trying to think, speaking, by not thinking, okay? You're not listening, okay? That's the problem with most people when they were in school. They never really did listen to the teacher. Their mind was wandering somewhere else. I was constantly doing that. Of course, I hated half the shit that they were teaching anyway. But yet I retained 99% of what the hell they taught. Because it all goes into that little computer you have, and you just have to draw upon it later on. But like I was saying, that certificate of mailing, when you emboss it, as you are the postmaster of that, dating that, in that regard, then that is now an affidavit of mailing. The post office ain't going to basically stand up in court for you. They will try everything in the world to get out because basically they are in the maritime system. They don't really want to help you. They want to use you. And that's why you can take all your receipts and everything else back in, and you come in and you mark in for domestic support. So you tax the U.S. Post Office for all the receipts you have. You want a new car, okay? You go down and you get the window sticker for that new car. The bankrupt debtor is going to be the car manufacturer. The notice has to go to the CFO of that car manufacturer. The check payment will be made out to the local car dealer. You will turn around and get the new vehicle as the set-off.
I wanted to buy a house that way. They don't have window stickers.
You get your money out first and then go buy the damn house, okay?
Okay, good. Because
you're buying a house from somebody else. You can buy it in the private, okay?
Okay. Got it.
Yes. See, the house and everything is not a manufacture. It's a fixed item now. It's attached to land.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're buying land. So you go to the owner of that land. You bypass the real estate agent.
Okay. I just got a copy of my certificate of live birth that I ordered, and it's very different from the one that I got in '92.
It doesn't make any difference, okay?
Okay.
Just run a copy of it and attach that to it, okay?
Okay, it's actually the 19...
It's got the number on it, right? The registration number? Okay, that's all you need.
It's the original handwritten one. Interesting. All the signatures on it. The only thing mechanical on it is a rubber stamp for the date.
That's the one you were supposed to have gotten all along. You just didn't request the right one before.
Ah, okay.
See, they put out a couple different ones, okay? Depending on what the usage you're going to be doing with that. If you're going to go to college or something like that, you need a certificate of live birth to prove that to come into that college. Well, they won't put the registration number in all cases upon that. And they will type just in that basically here's your parents and basically a few other items on there. And they won't tell you, like some places don't put the book and record from the county records on it.
Mm.
Okay? You just haven't done enough research on this stuff to see all this stuff. I've gotten numerous different copies of mine. I can see exactly what they're going for. I know how they ask the questions.
Wow. Yeah.
It's what you've got to start looking for. What question are they really asking? In a lot of cases, people have been given the wrong answers thinking that they know what the question was.
Hmm. Okay, got it.
Okay, anybody else out there? This is the bullshit session now. Open up.
Come on, guys. Ask your questions. Hello? Guess they're not there, Patrick.
Huh?
I guess they don't have any questions on it. My only other question is just where I haven't pulled the Constitution up and searched for the World Admiralty. I was curious to where exactly it was in there.
Yeah, just do a word search in it. I mean, basically it's there. Okay? Article 3, Section 3, or Article 3, Section in there about the court system, talking about Admiralty, that the courts have jurisdiction in Admiralty.
Oh, duh, right. Okay. Thank you.
And see, we are an American, an Mayor, M-A-I-R. I can. An M-A-I-R is a prince. The first 5 letters in Admiralty are a prince, Admir. This is the Princes of America, or the Prince and Princesses of America document. The princesses were supposed to be protected by the princes. There was no king or queen in America. That's what upset the monarchs over in Europe. They didn't like all the princes running around here in this country. It was a blight to them. They wanted to be the sole persons out here. But no, the sovereignty of this country was given to the people. We're not the sovereign. We're not the king or queen. But we are the sovereignty. We are the princes of America. When we stand in Admiralty, you stand in Maritime and you're a dead little shit. You're lower than whale shit. Because that's what they're going to do, is they're going to come wailing after you. Is what we have to do is start wailing upon them. Going after their liability bonds and stuff that they have out there in their maritime. Find out where these people are vulnerable and then attack that by taxation. Two things that have no statute of limitation out here: fraud and taxes. We've been told that for a long time. So our taxes stand superior to all their other taxes. You get a tax bill from the IRS. You turn around and you put a counter tax claim in for that amount in the bankruptcy against that vessel. If it comes in from the United States Corporation, then you basically have that directed to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. He's the Chief Financial Officer. You can put it in for 10 times the amount of what the taxes they're charging you. I basically sat up in the Attorney General's office there and said, I will be more than glad to pay the damn taxes when I get paid. And that was about 5 years ago when I said that to one of the guys in the office there, in the Attorney General's office. So I was damn close. I just didn't know how I was supposed to get paid. And the only way we can get paid is to tax them. Your traffic tickets. How do you pay a traffic ticket? You have to tax them, because they basically got you under an appearance bond, and they're out there utilizing that. And then if you go into court, they've got another bond in that court case. That court case is now another bond. And who are they attacking? They're attacking your fictional person, using his assets and collateral in their endeavor to harm you. You just have to turn around and turn the tables on them and tax the living shit out of them. That's how you destroy a court case, a maritime court case. You tax it into oblivion. Come on, there ought to be somebody that has some comment on this type scenario out here.
So I could go against my old bankruptcy case then, right?
Yes,
that's the only court case I had was a bankruptcy case.
Get this other taken care of, and basically that'll take care of pretty much everything else. Okay.
Yeah, that would be way down the line. Yes, you've got a whole lot of more important things.
You're not really going to want to go after the bankruptcy court if you want them to do something for you. Okay.
Okay. Well, this one was.
Okay.
In
Come on,
Nebraska.
think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're in Nebraska. I'm going to the ones in Ohio. But yeah, it's better to keep the court.
But if you got thrown in jail or something like that by the police department, or basically you got harmed in any way by a court putting out a false warrant for your arrest, yes, you can go after them. Put them in line.
Okay.
Show them that they are vulnerable and that basically the word is getting out and you're going to shut them down. They either start acting like lawful police officers or basically they're going to be out of a job. Because we tax their damn liability insurance, both for the corporation and the individual if need be. And if the corporation gets enough taxes against them, basically they're going to get rid of that damn employee that caused the harm to begin with.
Mm.
Come on, there ought to be somebody out there that has some damn comment or something.
Yes, I do, Patrick. This is Kurt.
Okay.
I'm looking at the beach end, and the example I have here is one that you put together. The state of Iowa vessel, Patrick Devine. So if I were doing, say, like, for instance, my certificate of title for my pickup, the name of the debtor would be the state.
The name of the debtor is the state of bankrupt, your name on that certificate of title. It's under your name.
Yes, that's true.
Just like what I was saying on this call about the certificate of title to the baptismal certificate or to the certificate of live birth. Same scenario. And then basically it's the maritime vessel or maritime contracted vessel number is the certificate number on that document. And then it's care of the state of bankrupt corporation. That all goes in block 1.
All right.
And then basically the state of bankrupt corporation is in care of, down in the notice line, is in care of the state attorney general's office.
Okay.
And then the payment for that, and I would make it at least 3 times the value that's on that certificate of title to the vehicle. So basically, like I've got one here was for $28,000 or $22,900 or something, and then I've also got a salvage title to it. So both of them are listed there for the same value, $22,900. I think it's $22,000. Maybe it just means $20,900. But anyway, I'll multiply that times 3 and put that into them, and that's my tax against them. I'm taxing them 3 times the value of that vehicle.
Okay.
And then that goes into the bankruptcy.
So then down in block 2, basis for claim, would that be the certificate of title number?
You're claiming the asset value. That basically, but you're taking that contract into, just like what I said earlier in the call. Okay, I read the statement that I was putting in there. You would pretty much use the same thing. You're going to tax that contract into oblivion, to liquidate it. You're going to take it into a forced bankruptcy for that contract.
Right. Okay.
Now,
and then
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, on your previous B10, you were going after silver dollars. Are we still doing that?
Yeah, forget the old one, okay?
Okay.
The old one has been modified.
Okay.
The old one, I wasn't talking about taxes.
That's right.
Yep. Okay? So this call is all about us coming in the proper way. I didn't have the form filled out right. I was sending the notices to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, look at it.
Okay.
They were
Right.
coming back to me.
That's right.
They need to go to the debtor. That's who the notice needs to go to. Because this is a commercial lien, a commercial tax lien. And you have to give them a notice of tax, just like the IRS does with us. But the IRS can only give us a notice of tax. They can never lien us. They can't. The only one they can lien is the vessel.
Right.
And they try and get us to think that we're the vessel.
Okay. I interrupted you, Kirk.
Oh, that's okay. In block 3 here, it says last 4 digits of any number by which creditor identifies debtor. So the debtor is going to be the state in some function. What numbers should I put in there, or should I leave it blank?
No, the debtor is not the state. The debtor is the contract.
Oh, I see.
The vessel. The contracted vessel, which is under your name.
Okay.
It's not you, but it's the vessel. But it's being held by the state. Now, all these contracts are under the number that you would put in there is the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Because when you went in to get that certificate of title to the vehicle, you had to give them your Social Security number.
True.
Yeah. You get your driver's license, you had to give them your Social Security number.
Mm-hmm.
You get a mortgage, you have to give them your Social Security number. These are all contracts, maritime contracts here, creating a vessel in your name, in your trade name. See the beauty of this?
Yes.
And then we come in and since that's our trade name and it's our assets, we can tax the living shit out of it because we are the landlord, they are the leasee or the renter, and the rent is due. And we can determine whatever rent we want.
And if they don't like it, they can leave.
That's right. And they will leave very quickly when you find out, because they don't want for you to come after their bonds of liability. Which is the next step if they do not comply. You would turn around and file a direct deprivation against their bond of liability at that point in time. They're a bankrupt vessel. And take them on an individual basis and see, that's the bad servant scenario that Jesus was talking about in the parable.
And would that be using the same B10 form against them?
You would use a new B10 form.
Okay, good. Okay. Makes that simpler. No federal court case and crap like that.
No, you don't go into federal court case. This is all about taxes.
Okay.
See, that's the problem. Everybody wants to go to the federal court. I've gone to the court, and basically the court's told me, we don't have jurisdiction to do what you want. That's right, because it's all about taxes. The only place that we can collect our taxes is through the bankruptcy system. Yeah, you go into a state court and basically they have you on a traffic ticket or something like that. You have the right to travel. You turn around and basically you file the tax that you should be doing this. As soon as you get that traffic ticket, you should be immediately filling out a B-10 and submitting it into the bankruptcy court for the appearance bond or whatever to get the payment. To take that into settlement. Your utility bill. You get the utility bill. You file a B-10 in to have the payment set off. After one or two of these, and basically you put down like the CFO of that damn utility company, and that CFO will be basically working with you to set off those bills so you don't have to go into bankruptcy court every time and submit those into him.
Do we submit the utility bills for the single value, or should we double that too?
The single value, okay? You're doing a set-off, okay?
Okay, good, okay.
How far back are
and
you
that's
going?
an inheritance tax. See, they're using our inheritance out of the Treasury.
Right.
See, the tax that we're really coming in under this certificate of live birth, okay, and the Social Security account, and several of these other items, they are called a lieu tax. L-I-E-U, tax. And that is a tax on a transportation and communication company. Well, basically, this vessel that we have is a transportation, maritime transportation and communication vessel. Transporting our assets around the maritime commercial system. Communicating our assets around. So that's why it's called a lieu tax, because it, and also a lieu tax sort of combines all the other taxes into one, because you can go after it for inheritance tax, usage tax, estate tax, harming tax, fraudulent tax. I mean, you could come up with all these taxes you want to come up with. You don't have to use the ones that basically the corporations use. You can make up your own taxes. That's the beauty when you know who in the hell you are.
How far back are you going on those utilities and things like that?
What's that?
How far back are you going on the utilities?
Just start doing the ones you've got right now, okay?
Okay. I don't have any, sir.
Okay? You can always go back and claim some of the others later, okay? But get the funds out and start setting off these things, and basically then the CFO will probably contact you on setting these things off without having to go through the bankruptcy process.
Okay.
And see, then, when you come out of a system, you've established your communications with that CFO. now you will go into basically a private contract with them.
Okay.
To where you will be, basically they can't use your assets anymore because you're going to be terminating the usage of that, but you will still be able to claim the usage of the inheritance tax out there. So basically it's still going to be a set-off. But it's going to be a private contract. You're not going to, you will just be ordering a set-off against them, and you'll give them whatever documentation they need to allow for the set-off, so that they've got the documentation when they go back to the United States Treasury and say, we don't have to pay this amount back to the Treasury because basically we paid the bill for Mr. Joe Blow here.
Okay.
See, you got to start thinking, how would you make this thing work if you were the one in charge?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the movie Paycheck. You have to almost reverse engineer this whole process to see how it could have been created to begin with, and then you move forward. Then you can start seeing your future. Then you look underneath the bird cage, underneath the newspaper there, and find your lotto ticket. A place where you can't go. And see, that's where we are. We are in a place to where we can't go. We have to bring them into bankruptcy. Have them bring that vessel into bankruptcy. We can't bring it in because we don't have it. And that's the place we can't go. We weren't supposed to go into bankruptcy anyway because we're the creditor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions? Got two people to start opening up. What's wrong with the rest of you guys?
I hope they're not watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
Should be over by now, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Well,
We had 10 of us, Patrick. We were up to 14 at one time. It looks like every once in a while people drop out because of some kind of problem with the call and they have to come back in.
Oh, yeah, some people been dumped out. I was talking to one lady the other night. She was dumped out about 4 or 5 times on the thing.
Most people hang in there. There's, I think, only 2 people that had to do that. The others have been around since the beginning.
Just need to go through and basically listen to this call tonight. Basically, I tried to lay out, and basically that form is not that hard. Like I said, there's only a few places you need to put in there. The bankrupt or the debtor, and then where the notice needs to go to. And like the Social Security, the notice needs to go to the Social Security Administration. Okay?
Right.
And then basically, if you can get their emails, put their emails down there. If not, put a fax number down there. Say, here's the fax number. I don't have their email.
Okay.
mean, if they can send an email out, basically a fax should be just as comparable as an email.
And it's got better confirmation on it, too.
Well, it may or may not. Okay, it's basically 6 of one, half dozen other. They're both the same. They're both electronic transmissions.
Yeah.
So if I were going to be doing the B10 on IRS frivolous filing penalty fee, the name of the debtor would be the Internal Revenue Service dash my vessel name and the address. And, or no, not address, up in the name of the debtor. The name and address where notices should be would that be the IRS commissioner?
No. You would still go after, basically, the Attorney General. You want justice, okay?
Oh, okay.
Basically, the vessel that basically is still being used is that state vessel. That's who's being taxed by them.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right.
Under that Social Security number. Okay?
Right.
But if you take this in, okay, with the certificate of live birth, that should shut all those items down.
Oh, then I wouldn't have to go after that individual.
Then you wouldn't have to go after that.
Awesome.
Now, you shut the thing down. You shut the Social Security down. Basically, you shut everything else down that's attached to that damn Social Security. It's dead in the water now.
Right. Right. Okay. All right.
Now, basically, then you say, hey, the U.S. trustee, you've got to bring all those other dead in the sea vessels into here. I've given you all the names. But if you're like in the state, I'd do one for each one, like the driver's license and everything else. Bring them in. Make the damn Attorney General basically earn his damn pay. He wanted to be a damn corporate CFO, make him work for his damn living. He's got enough damn fraudulent employees sitting around there not doing shit.
Well, I imagine they probably keep busy going after people, making their lives miserable.
Yep, yeah. I mean, basically, marriage certificate, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? All these fraudulent claims against the debtor, the fathers, for custody, taking the children away from the father, who basically is the one that the children really belong to.
Oh, yeah. Deadbeat
the
fathers.
children are indentured servants to the father until they come of age. Unless the father has caused them harm or something, and then he better be in jail.
True.
But this fraudulent shit, because the state entered a contract with you, so you have to sue that marriage license to pay the child support. It's all contract law here, maritime contract, insurance law, and everything. And the only way you can get them to pay on the damn contracts is to tax the living shit out of them.
I've often said there has to be a big, big bat that we can use to get their attention and exercise our authority. I think you've discovered it here, Patrick.
Yes, it is. And it was right in the Constitution. All these damn constitutional shitheads out here that claim that they know all about the damn Constitution and they completely missed this damn thing? I can't believe this. Mm-hmm. They didn't know the damn Constitution was a shit. And some of these guys have charged I don't know how many thousands of dollars for their damn seminars and for their damn tapes and everything else. And this was the damn thing that everybody should have been totally made aware of in the whole damn process, is that you have the power and the right, when you come of age, to tax the living shit out of anything and destroy it. And see, that's what they did back at the turn of the century when Chief Justice Marshal made this comment. They came in and they imposed a 10% tax upon all the state banks, driving the state banks out of existence so that the national banks could rule. Yeah, if you read the definition, it clearly explains that. It says, here's an example of what the hell overtaxation can do. Mm. And see, that's when I read that, I said, that's what we needed to do. We need to tax our person out of existence. We've been trying to go politely to them, taking them into court actions with a judicial dissolution and all this other, which should be the way to do it, but it's not. There's only one way: tax. Big stick.
Do you have to use their form?
Yes, you have to do a B-10 form because you've got to give form to the bankrupt. It's not giving form to you, it's giving form to the bankrupt. That's what forms are all about. You have to give form to a fiction. The living doesn't need a form. We have form. We have substance. We are land. We have metes and bounds against us.
Right. I guess it's that hearing for so long that, not to use their forms and to create your own.
No. The only one that you might put in would be the B2 form, and you could modify that to make up your own. It's not really a true form, okay? It's basically it's going to be either handwritten or whatever. But you just sort of address at the top that this is in reference to a B2 bankruptcy document. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
But we don't need to do that now. We just need to come in as the creditor. So what I had out there for doing the B2 to try and have this transferred over to the bankruptcy trustee, I couldn't transfer it to him because I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to bring the state of Iowa or the state of wherever you are. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are holding the vessel. We need to bring them into bankruptcy court. They have to bring that vessel in.
Okay.
And that's basically called a forced involuntary bankruptcy action. When we overtax the living shit out of them. We know that they don't have that much money on board that vessel. So they bring the vessel in, and then whatever's on the vessel, we get, because we're the sole creditor.
Congratulations. You have been selected to take part in our anonymous survey. Please take our 30-second questionnaire, and to say thank you, we'll offer you.
Now, in Block 4, when you have a mortgage or you have a vehicle or something like that, you would put that down in there on the item. a note or whatever against that, and then you're going to, that I would still come in and put your claim in, your tax claim in, for the value of 3 times or whatever for the mortgage.
Right.
And like I said, if a mortgage company, the initial bank or whatever that had the mortgage, sold that mortgage to another company, I would put it in against both companies. They both utilized that item to make a profit off of. The penitentiary system, okay, or the parole system that's out here. Placing charges. They're taxing you. That's what that parole is all about. It's a tax. You have to turn around and tax them because they're putting a parole tax against you, utilizing, so they have a bond against you. You're bonded to them. You turn around and you basically obliterate that bond by overtaxing the living shit out of it. Now they have to bring that parole vessel into the bankruptcy court. Your court case, incarceration, that's a vessel. You have to tax, you file a B-10 and charge the living shit out of it. They have to bring you in to that bankruptcy court and turn you loose. But you have to stand in Admiralty. When you stand as the eagle in the shields, you are in Admiralty, and you are standing over the governmental corporations. And I even said that in bankruptcy court, and basically the U.S. Marshals were about ready to jump on me for claiming that I was threatening the judge. But when I said that, basically that stopped them dead in their tracks, and I didn't fully understand what I just did. I just placed that court in Admiralty. And they had to back the hell off. They tried to question me later to try and trick me into basically back into Maritime, but I wouldn't concede to them in that regard. I stood my ground well enough that they had to back off. But once you understand and know all this about, that this is all about taxing, you've got them now. Because they can't harm you any longer. Because you can turn around and harm them 10 times fold or more. That's what they've been afraid of.
Right. Commerce / taxing has been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah. Just in different names
right.
and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? once you fill one of these forms out, okay, make up your template, okay? And if you got a good PDF program, you ought to be able to edit those forms and basically make them fillable blanks on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then and you can modify the font size and everything else on them to get the information in there the way you want it. Then basically you've got a template, and then after that, you've got it set up there. You just modify it appropriately. Nitro PDF's a good program to edit a PDF document. And put the blanks and the text files and the check marks and everything else blocks in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and call it a night, Tom.
Thank you.